We ready for my rant?
Pit stops.
Yes.
NASCAR pit stops to start with.
Well,
As you said in our last video, you can't stand when a race is won or lost on pit road.
correct. That's not what I'm here to watch.
Now, does that include like fuel mileage races, or are you specifically talking about where a pit crew outperformed another pit crew and thus somebody
My
jumped?
fuel mileage races are in itself. That's another whole category. Unfortunately, you can't really change that unless you have a mandatory caution that you have a full tank, you can go the distance. Unfortunately, races being as long as they are, that's part of the strategy.
And with overtime finishes, that's when it starts.
That's another whole discussion. I can't really argue with anybody about fuel mileage races. Again, a race is start to finish the first one who get there, no matter how many means. Okay, I can't really. I'm not going to argue with that. That's all part of it, unfortunately. Pit stops. I understand the advantages of the Rainbow Warriors, the early days of the Wood Brothers that created this era of the faster we go in the pit stops, the less time I'm going to lose on track. I get it. I understand it. They revolutionized racing. They revolutionized pit crews. They revolutionized the whole race complex because our guys can do it 3 seconds faster than you. Now it's our guys can do it a half a second than you. That's 3 spots I gained. If you're into the strategy type race where every component dictates the outcome of the race, that's fine. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you that you don't know racing, you don't understand that. But how many times does a guy get tripped over somebody else's hose? A car's too close. Pit stall wise, getting in, getting out.
How many times has Denny Hamlin gotten screwed over in the championship race because of a mistake on pit road?
Penalties, speeding on pit road, this, that. Does it add drama to the race? Yes. Does it make me want to watch the race more to say, ooh, that Jackman slipped on oil and almost broke his kneecap and it caused Denny or somebody to lose the race because he had a half a second slower pit stop? That's not what I'm here for. I understand the strategy. I understand long distance races where you got to save tires, you got to do this, you got to do that. I understand all of that. But within the last fuel window, pit crews should stay out of the outcome of the race. We're watching driver and machine compete at a high level on a racetrack to see who has the better car, the better driver, and let them race. Isn't that what we hear doing? Is that what we hear when we watch it? If I wanted to watch the drill team and the pit crew competition, that's on another channel. I'm sorry. My whole point is set of tires, full tank of fuel, start, finish, best man win. And we're not talking about bumping and doing all that stuff. I do not like pit strategies to change the outcome of a race. My opinion, but I'm going to give you a solution or an idea. Indianapolis did this many years ago. They had timers all the way around the racetrack that you, when the caution came out, you had to maintain the distance. You didn't close up behind the leader. So as you're on the racetrack until the pit's open, they maintained your advantage or disadvantage, depending on what position you were in. So if you had a 3-second lead, you didn't lose the 3 seconds under caution catching up. So if you came in, the guy still had to be 3 seconds behind you, and you maintained that going back out. Did it work? Obviously not, if they don't do it anymore. So my idea is non-competitive pit stops. You're under caution, you stack up, you all go in, you have a set time to do your pit stop. Then you go back on the racetrack and you maintain position. There is no passing, there's no dropping back, unless you have a lengthy pit stop. So let's just say NASCAR Cup Series. We all know we can do pit stops 10 seconds. Wonderful. Formula One, it's 2 seconds. IndyCars, whatever. Under caution only. Everybody comes in, everybody leaves. You have a set time that you then maintain your position. If you go over that time, then it's when you get back in line to the race. Line up with the cars. It saves the pit guys. It gives them a little bit more time to make better adjustments on the car. How many times have we heard
The bugs are back.
hold on. How many times have we seen pit crew members in danger, getting stuck between cars?
Or
Thankfully, not a lot. Not a lot. There's
even just the matter of somebody's doing their pit stop. There's, a little confusion coming of other cars coming onto pit road.
right.
Somebody gets spun or even bumped into.
So, like I said, make it a 15-second pit stop window. 20 seconds. I don't care. Amount of caution laps that you see trying to figure out where everybody is or TV time, whatever. You come all in, you make all your pit stops, and you leave. It's timed. If you go over that time limit, then it's when you bleed back out to say, all right, now you were 10th, you came out 5 seconds later, now you're in 20th. That should be the only penalty.
I feel like I've seen something where it's, you bring the whole field down, you have
Yes.
5 minutes to work on
Craftsman
your car.
Truck Series, when they first started that, at halfway, boom. You had 20 minutes.
Didn't ARCA usually does that because
They
don't have green flag or hot pits.
Hot pits. Now, this is under caution only. I'm not talking about green flag pit stops or whatever. Under caution only. They all come in and they all leave at the same position.
You can still do your choose cone after that.
Absolutely. Everything else doesn't change. It's just that it will make
Pit road safer.
pit roads safer, make more time for the guys to make bigger changes on the car. Remember the old days when you tried to take a rubber in and out? We don't have time because that takes 3 more seconds to put the piece of rubber in the spring and this and that. Whatever they do now, whatever they can do within a 20-second time to make their car better would make better racing.
Now, just for my clarification, those spring rubbers, those are those brightly colored like discs that I see at Dennis's. Yes. Okay.
Yes. That when you jack the car up, they go in between the coil springs.
We don't have a convenient.
It's somewhere around here.
All the springs are behind me, I think.
Yes. If that's what they need, you know what I'm saying? If they had more time to make bigger adjustments, and I'm not talking 5 minutes, I'm not talking 20 minutes, I'm talking about from a 10-second stop to a 20-second stop. How much adjustment can you build in your car to say, wow, we really missed it, but we have built-in adjustability to make it better. So now this guy's going to go from 20th to the top 10. Is that going to be exciting to watch? Doesn't the race coverage now say, wow, this guy gained 3/10 on this field. He's coming through the field, and we're watching him pick off this guy. We pick this guy. Why? Because he made a bigger adjustment on his car that he couldn't have because of the, I got to get out of here in 10 seconds.
And that also would like eliminate the lap cars coming in like the next lap, and now you're blocking the lead lap cars into their stalls, and now there's
Creating, right.
like, yeah, it creates drama, which is good for TV, but then
Not
you're
for race fans.
no,
Not for the hardcore race fans.
and that's the difference between somebody who's just watching NASCAR and
right.
racing fans.
But here's the problem. The audience right now is that you're trying to gain more hardcore fans to watch. So if they don't understand all of the stuff that's going on within a race, and commentators do a very good job of it, but for the casual fan, they're like, what the fuck is going on here? How could this guy get away with blocking this guy's pit lane or couldn't back up and do this? I'm like, eliminate all of that. Eliminate anything else. I want to see on track, at speed, racing. That to me is a race. We've had some wonderful races out of Riverhead. I've watched many races in the Northeast. All different divisions. Okay? Once you induce pit stops, it's going to change the race complexion. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. There is no perfect solution, but that's my take on competitive pit stops under caution. I think we need to eliminate that. Have a 20-second window where you come in, you do your service, and you leave without losing position. If you take longer than the 20 seconds, then you get dropped back to where they would figure that out. I think it would be make it better racing because better adjustments on the car. Less problems on pit road. Thankfully that NASCAR has done all the safety features for all these drivers, and we haven't seen seriously injured people, but tires bouncing around, pit crew members almost getting hit by cars, being hit by cars and stuff like that.
Equipment being taken out of the box.
The general speed of coming in would slow down. Because we don't need to have cars spinning out coming into pit road because I gotta be a second faster coming and slowing down. No, under caution, boom, you're all gonna come in. Once you get into your pit stall, you have 20 seconds. With today's timing and scoring and the eye in the sky with everything that's going on, GPS is a wonderful thing that, boom, we all know that you took 21 seconds, you gotta drop back 2 spots. No questions about it. And none of this speeding shit where I can accelerate more because I got the turn and this and all that stuff. Let's get rid of all that shit. I want to see cars on the racetrack racing. Is that too hard to ask?
Apparently.
No, that's why I like short track racing, because for the most part, unless you have your long distance races, as in the modifieds and all that stuff, we don't need pit stops. And that should be the race.
And it's, if you do have quote unquote pits, it's one of, like, if you got a flat tire with, the mistress and had to leave the track to go get that
right.
tire changed, they give you, I think it's 5 caution laps.
Right, which I understand and appreciate it, because most of the guys in the Legends division, we don't have crews.
No, but but aside from that, I think it's a number of caution laps.
Yes.
For all of the divisions.
Yes.
And the way you come is whatever order you get back to the track.
Right.
That's the order you come back in, and you just whatever
You
position.
don't go a lap down.
No, because we don't count caution laps.
Right. So you
If
go
we
back
did, you would.
Yeah. Well.
But you go not back to your spot. You go to the rear of the lead lap cars.
Well, wherever you are. Yes.
If you are on the lead lap and something happens,
Yeah.
you go off
into the pits, and then that's why we have 5 laps. But
or however many laps.
whatever. But again, I just think that everybody involved would make it, to me, produce a better show. Fans to watch it
On the actual track, so we don't end up with. Plus, that would also, in theory, allow a little bit more time for those guys who need to, do repairs on the track, so you don't have cautions breeding cautions.
Well, that I don't think that just raises mentality. When we're all bunched up together, I can pass more cars. I'm going to take bigger risks. I'm just saying that under a caution, eliminate the competition pit stops. It changes the race more negative than it does have positive results. We wouldn't see loose wheels. We wouldn't see I get hit coming out of my pits. I just bent in my nose. Now I lost all my aero. Okay? There's so many more positive things that would happen if we went to non-competitive caution pit stops. On the green, that's part of the race.
That's green flag.
That's green flag. I'm not saying anything about that. When it's a caution, give these guys plenty of time to work on the cars without penalizing them because some guy slipped on somebody else's mess. If that's what you think is part of racing and that's what you tune in for, then we have differences of opinion. I want to see race car drivers race
cars,
not the pit crews win or lose a race. Under caution. Again, if you blow out a second faster pit stop on the green and everything's good, there's your crew. It's still there.
In that last fuel window, if you have a green flag cycle as opposed to someone under caution.
The only thing I'm talking about is under caution only. I think it would put a better product on your screen and you'll be more willing to watch because knowing, at a short track, let's say Bristol or Martinsville, that, all these guys are going to come back out of this caution underneath. Oh, my guy lost 4 spots. And here's another thing. This is going to be on to another topic of why we've lost fans of drivers. Quick tidbit.
Sponsors.
The paint scheme on the car. If I want a 5-year-old child, and he goes, "Hey, Daddy, I like that car." He's not talking about Chase Elliott. He's not talking about Daniel Suarez. He's not talking about any driver.
He's talking about the white and blue car, the purple car, the
paint scheme. We grew up with Kellogg's. Everybody can name who's ever in the Kellogg's car. Everybody knows the DuPont 24. Everybody knows the black number 3. Everybody knows the black and gold Deuce. Iconic cars are what make the fans, because that's what they can identify with. They know the name on the car, but they don't know the person.
And that's a topic for another day.
And that's a whole topic of another, maybe next week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe in the off season. But how many race car fans lost interest because, and again, we're not picking on anybody, you're just somebody who, how many drivers today have one sponsor on their car for the whole year?
None of them, not since Denny Hamlin stopped racing FedEx full time.
We all know the UPS car. We all knew
M&M's.
Budweiser car. We all knew the Coors Light car. We all knew the Miller car. We all know the M&M's, whether it be Skittles, M&M's,
The Mars candies.
You know, we had the Wood Brothers Pure Leader, red and white. That's the only car that's pretty much stayed the same throughout the history. The Wood Brothers. So, is that why we're losing fans? Because if I'm a Chase Elliott fan, or a Martin Truex fan, or a Chevy fan, or a Ford fan, why do I have to buy 5 different shirts for my driver?
And before you go much further into this topic, because now we're going to have 2 videos combined into one.
We'll be talking about that. Another. Opinions. Comments below.
What are your opinions on pit stops? Do you think we should have...
What do you think that would make the race better, or it would hinder the race?
Or do you think they should do away with the pit stops altogether and just have, at your quote-unquote stage breaks, have it an actual break in the race? Where you can go in for, you can only do tires or fuel during if you're in pit road, you can either do one or the other. Like they
do tires, and then go back around and do your fuel. A lot of guys do it.
Yeah.
How would the pits...
How can you improve?
How would you change the pit stops to help put a better product on the racetrack? Peace out.